I would say, wonderful presentation. A lot of my questions that I had already been answered with the audio visual, with the video. But at the outset, I would say this, right from the time I got access to internet, it has been game changer. One degree that we often don't put on our CV is that we have learned from the internet. Because most of my knowledge, I would say, has come from the internet, from social media, from different sources on the internet. And I would congratulate TRAI for keeping it relatively cheaper, accessible from anywhere, multiple option. If, let's say, one educational institute goes wrong, I have another option. Overnight I can change with the MNP. And it is accessible. I think accessibility is more important. You can access it any time of the day, anywhere, any part of the country. So I would congratulate TRAI for that. I remember from the first time I've had tried all the network providers, right from the time of BPL Mobile, Vodafone, BSNL, Jio, Airtel. Right now I have Airtel. But I know how difficult it was for me for the first time to obtain the SIM card. It was a 2G SIM card. I had to run through different stores and I wouldn't get it. But finally I got it, but now I think your SIM card reaches to your doorstep. You register online and it comes to you. So let me just congratulate, and I would ask all of you to give a round of applause for TRAI for doing a wonderful job for us. In my classroom, I am often like a backbencher who sometimes doesn't understand the concept, despite sir explaining very beautifully about TRAI. So sir, if I ask you about TRAI, is TRAI like an umpire on a cricket field and there are a lot of players? A lot of players are like Vodafone, Jio, BSNL and others. Do broadband connections like your other broadband provider also come as part of the field?
Yes, as I told earlier. Hello? Hello? Hello, I think now it's coming. Yeah. Just as I told earlier, so any telecom service provider who has been given authorization from Department of Telecom. So authorization of any telecom service, so broadband is also one service. So broadband service provider are also under regulation from TRAI.
Okay, so every time the player is not properly playing, the umpire comes in and shows them.
Yes. So there is a quality of service part of it. We call it QoS. So we have QoS regulation. So as you may be knowing, law student, rules are made by the executive, and TRAI as a regulator makes regulations. So TRAI makes regulations and issues directions. So when we issue directions to the service provider, it's like a mandate to do or not to do. And if these are not complied, then certain financial disincentives are imposed on service providers to ensure the compliance.
A lot of these law students sitting here must be wondering, how is law connected with the TRAI? Is there a legal department? Are there career opportunities within the TRAI? Or there are a lot of cases of TRAI. Do they ever go in judiciary?
What I don't know, fortunately or unfortunately, a different aspect. But in recent years, there have been fewer legal disputes in telecom sector. But if you go in the hindsight, the little back, telecom was much under litigation day in, day out, either between service providers or between service and the state. Hardly a day would pass when you would not hear in the headline something or other on telecom. It was a big issue and it had scuttled the growth also. So being a law student, as you know, to move forward, you have to have a balance between that. Too much litigation also leads to a decrease in growth because there is no clarity. no clarity whether I will be able to put this much investment. So that way, there have been certain policy changes in the last 2-3 years to remove these issues. Because there was always something, if you remember, I'll just give one example as you told case law. Okay, there was one condition in the license about paying license fee from all your sources of revenue, a percentage, say 6% of all your adjusted gross revenues. So what happened, suppose Delhi Metro had also taken license for certain frequencies they had taken for their internal consumption, internal use, and they had taken this. Now, as per this, what you call this license fee condition, they also were required to pay 6% of overall revenues, even though revenues are from transport. Now, this created a big Power Grid Corporation was there, many other companies were there who had taken the frequencies for some other use, but this agreed line was there of overall revenues. So this took around, I think, 5-6 years, and Supreme Court also initially said no, it is there in the contract, you signed it, you have to pay it.
So are you also referring to the Vodafone case, where a lot of you must be knowing that law cannot be applied retrospectively. This is one case for all of you to go home and study about the Vodafone case where the government of India had applied it retrospectively. So do read about that case, but I think that case is more about taxation.
Yes.
Less to do about
yes.
TRAI.
Yes, sir. Basically, before this VI merger, Vodafone, its parent company was the Vodafone International and Vodafone India. At that time, when the issues were there about royalty treatment and other things, taxation issues were there, where government of India took a stand to impose penalties and other things, compliance issues were there, and retrospective effect. It went on for years. Vodafone went into arbitration also. If you go through that, it's a big thing. Of course, last few years back it was set right, the issue was resolved, but it was a very important case law which you can refer, especially for taxation people.
My next question is about the caller tune that usually comes, and the caller tune is not the song that I am referring, but when I am calling, there is a lot of warnings and notification given, please don't share your OTP and other things. Sometimes I want to answer a very urgent call, I want to get connected to the other person. After all this notification, then comes that your phone is not reachable. So how do you resolve those kind of things, sir?
This issue was also taken with the actually...
And one more thing, sir. When, let's say, my recharge is getting over in like 3 days, I'm continuously getting those, please recharge, please recharge. Obviously, I will recharge. But why do you have to remind us again and again, sir?
Okay.
Maybe the companies here can answer this.
This is more to do with the companies, whether they want their consumers to be convenient with this message, or they want them not to forget their recharge and be means when they actually need the telephone, service, it is not available. So one way they are doing a good service to you, okay, you do not miss any chance to recharge, and when you need the OTP, it is coming to you.
Yeah.
But yes, too much of anything is not good. So moderation is required. So instead of barging you with your please recharge, etc. And the first question which you asked about the message, especially during COVID time, this problem was felt, and this was raised with the other ministry also, that COVID message used to come for 1 minute or 30 seconds before you'll get that, and suppose you want to call somebody in emergency, that call will go only after that message was played fully. So for that some issue is going on, how to address it. Okay, even when the message is being played, at least the call can land there so that he can respond. That's what is going on that.
Also about the do not disturb service that you put, a lot of us get spam calls, but sometimes you find that after you registering for do not disturb, and I personally have registered for full block, so I don't get any communication. So that I have registered, but yet I get calls. So how do you manage that?
As I told earlier, for last 1 year we have been working very hard on it, and as I told earlier also again, कि a person making a call, it's difficult to anticipate that call will go as a commercial call or it will go as a normal conversation. If I call you and I can call you as a normal conversation, or I can tell you, okay, you purchased my this thing, it's a very good thing, home loan, personal loan or something. System will not know. But another thing I told you, AI is there, so system can know, yes, this person 90% time makes promotional call only, and people have registered complaint against this person, just like what is done by Truecaller. They do a crowdsourcing. If 10 people or 20 people complain against a number as a spam call, it labels it as spam. It may be or may not be. So that's how now telecom companies are also trying to do that. The only problem with that is they cannot block it. They can only give something that.
So I would like to share an incident. So this happened with my wife few days back. She got a spam call, and then she went on a Jio app for her on our phone, and she found all the calls. I think calls show up even on the app, and then you can just register over there that this is a spam call. She registered for it. After 2 or 3 days, she got a message saying that the complaint has been acknowledged and already action has been taken, and that mobile is deregistered. So it was quite a good thing. Then I told her sometimes by mistake don't put my number on that. So sometimes it does work. Those are the options that really work. Another incident that I want to share is one fine day I have Airtel broadband at my home. Suddenly the internet goes, and I check my phone, I get a message from the Airtel, and the net went at around maybe 4:30. The message comes that by 8:30 the problem will be resolved. So I think telecom companies are doing good job in this regard, that without you calling and complaining, they are themselves giving you a time-bound delivery services that within this time your problems will be solved. Next question, sir, is what about call drops? We still get a lot of call drops.
Call drops issue, of course, complaints have come down. One reason is after this unlimited calling facility came, people stopped complaining about call drop, because so data we don't have much on call drops. People, if suppose one call is dropped, make a second call, it is not charged. So complaints have not come that much which were coming earlier. We don't have much figures, but there are other things through which we get this information. We have our drive test conducted. In Goa also, TRAI has conducted a drive test about 3 months back. So whenever we in a particular route or area, we found there are issues, quality of service issues are there, we ask the operators, we tell the operators to improve the coverage and improve the quality in that area. They do some optimization work in the network also, and that's how it happens. So it's basically an iterative process based on the feedback which we get or feedback which the operators get. But if the people don't complain, it may be possible that they may not even know also.
So now I would want some students to ask questions, maybe few questions we can have, yeah?
Oh, any cordless mic is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Santal Gawkar from 3rd year BLLB. So I have this one question, like on day-to-day basis when we use WhatsApp and all, it is written on the message there, it is end-to-end encrypted. So with our calls, they are being recorded, they are being heard, or they are also end-to-end encrypted? And if not, then is the data which we converse with our friends and all stored somewhere?
You mean normal call?
Yeah, normal call.
Normal calls also are encrypted. They are also in the SIM that you use. It's an encryption device. There's also encryption is there, but there's a provision that कि law enforcement authorities can legally intercept the calls and messages of any individual with certain procedure is there. So those authorities can intercept your call. For that there is a separate network is there, but with some procedure is there. Somebody has to approve it, permission has to be given for a period, then they can intercept. But other people, no, they cannot.
Is it recorded and stored somewhere, or it is not?
See, it can be, see, the person who is receiving it, that person can record it, not in between. So if you are making a call to other person, he has got a voice recorder in his phone or any app is there, that person can record, but not in between.
Thank you, sir.
Any more questions? Okay.
For the question, when sometimes a number, a mobile number, it is often seen that a number is sometimes given to Mr. A, and that number he surrenders. And that number is there with his friends, people who know him. And when somebody dials that number, that is connected to another person, Mr. B. So when he has surrendered that, how is that number, same number is given to another person?
But that number cannot be for once the person has surrendered the number, it is open with the provider to give it to any other one person.
I feel that a different number should be given. That number should be completely different. Because that person B, it's an invitation for him to receive his calls, or the calls of his
I understand your point. See, because these are numbering resources are limited. Suppose 10-digit number is there. Even if you remember earlier, we had got mobile series was only starting with 9. With so many people using service, started with 6, 7, 8 like that also. Now the numbering resources are limited. If we keep each number for each individual, I mean say lifelong, the resource will be limited. Either you have to go for 13 digit or 14 digit like that. It has to move to that scenario. But with 10 digit number, if somebody is not using that, what as of now is done for some 6 months period, that number is not given to anyone. But after 6 months period, it is free. The case went to a Supreme Court also, if you remember, about 2 months back. Same issue had gone there. Person had said, why my number was given to other person? The Supreme Court also checked another thing. They said, it can be given.
Now, second question is, in case of the towers in the residential areas, who monitors the strength of the signal?
Okay, the good question is there. These are called Department of Telecom has got a field unit in every state capital. Department of Telecom Ministry, they have got an office in every state capital. It's called Local Service Area Office. And I showed one slide on called Tarang Sanchar. That website, if you search, Google search into Tarang Sanchar, there it gives the complete process. You can see which tower, how much power it is radiating, and if anybody has any complaint against it is radiating more power, they can get that power checked also. But that involves some payment also.
Is it possible for an individual to check that strength of the radiation?
No, it can request the Department of Telecom, make an application to get it checked. So department will do on the person because it requires some instrument. They will do a check how much radiation is going from that antenna.
Thank you.
One person there. Pardon, I couldn't the last part. Achha, MNP time. No, as of now we have not issued any direction. It is 4 days only. No. Unless anything come out in public domain, nothing can be said about that. No.
Okay. Okay, so no more questions? Yeah, okay. So, sir, my last question. Few years back, all the telecommunication companies sold us these lifetime SIMs. And now lifetime has suddenly become limited. Now if you don't recharge, your phone is, first of all, you don't even get incoming. Minimum recharge is so expensive. You have to recharge for, I think, about 90 rupees or 100 rupees for at least to get a minute. Sometimes it becomes expensive for even those people who are not using 4G. All the telecommunication companies focus, I think, is because adoption of 4G. But what about some of our grandparents who don't want to use 4G, 5G, but yes, just want a 2G? What about those plans, sir? I mean, is TRAI doing anything regarding that?
Actually, as I told, we have a policy of forbearance when it comes to tariff. We do not dictate the terms at what rate, what price service should be offered. And we also don't dictate what technology is to be offered. So 2G is still continuing in India. Many places it is not there. The second generation, and now we are in fifth generation. But it's still popular in the country for two reasons. One is many people are having feature phones. Those feature phones support 2G. As you told, the elder generation or the people who don't want to commit much amount on smartphones, they are still using their 2G phones. But from service provider point of view, they are having a challenge in maintaining the 2G network. As you know, the obsolescence in technology is so high. If your phone, you don't have a phone of some 10 years back or 12 years back or any appliance today, imagine how they are maintaining their equipment. How they are maintaining the 20-year-old equipment. There are cards, some equipment, switches, so many things are there in their equipment which have to be replaced when they go faulty. So they are having a very, very much problem in maintaining that equipment. So 2G, they are just trying to, just because demand is there, they are going through it, but it may not be possible to continue for longer period. But as you said, to address the concerns of those concerns you told, the cost or the price matter of the handset, for that they are trying to talk to industry and other things, how it can be either financed or cross-subsidized so that it is made affordable. But technology cannot be retained for a longer period.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir, for answering all the questions very candidly and with honesty. Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot.